All right, have you ever heard this saying before? You can't continue living in a storm and not expect to get blown around by the wind, right? This is what happens when we overcommit ourselves or have too much going on or really try and do something to improve our health, improve our life, work on our relationships or whatever. But if we don't take the time to really focus on what we need, we don't end up getting anywhere. Right? So I'm Dr. Beth Westie, women's health and hormone expert. And these are things that I talk to gals about every single day because it's so important. When you live in a storm, what does that look like? What does that mean? It can mean that you are disorganized. Disorganized in your plan for the day, for what you're doing for your health. Are your meals, ready? Or do you have the food in the house that you want to cook for the day? Do you have a way to get it? Are you getting groceries delivered? Do you know what you're getting fuel-wise for your body? How you're taking care of yourself? How you're taking care of those around you and your family? Without some type of plan, it's just everything can get thrown in the wind that much easier. When you do have a plan, things can go and run amok, of course, and that can be really frustrating. But if you don't even have a plan and you're very disorganized and you don't have any type of structure to follow, no wonder why it's so hard for us then to achieve any of our health goals. This is one of the things that I teach women when we work together, when we talk about eating for your hormones, eating for your cycle, eating for what your body really needs. It helps you have an organized pattern. So I'm going to put a link here in the comments for you to get on the wait list for the next female hormone solution program that I have. The only way you can get the registration link is on the wait list, or my wait list is exclusive that way. I also have a masterclass coming up where I'm going to be talking about signs of a healthy hormones and signs of a healthy metabolism. And again, the only way you get access to that same masterclass is being on the wait list. So lots of great info there. But this is a big thing to just start on. And it doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It doesn't have to be exact. But it does have to be the right thing for your body and system. And that's what we work on. Another part about living in a storm, you can just be, purely overwhelmed. Do you say yes to everybody? Do you say yes to everything? Do you take on all the tasks? Do you drive the kids everywhere and do everything and just have so much on your plate and then 50 plates spinning in the air? How are you going to get beyond, that feeling of overwhelm when every single day you have so much on your plate and then you continue to take on more? It's a never-ending cycle, right? It's about chunking down and knowing what's most important and knowing that if you are exhausted and wiped out, you cannot be as effective or efficient as you need to be. So taking the time for yourself is really important. And the other piece that makes you live in a storm is putting yourself last, right? Putting yourself last. We've all done this. Everybody else comes first. I got to make sure everybody else is taken care of first. Everything is done for all the other people first. And then if there's time left over, it's for me. And then if there's, a little bit of space left over, that's when I can have space for myself. That usually means that there's no space left over for you. Right? Yeah. This is how you keep living in that storm, is if you keep putting yourself last. When, whenever I do talks, I'll talk about how women always put everybody else first and everybody else's needs ahead of their own. And it's only when our arm falls off or we literally can't get through the day do we actually wake up and say, oh, it might be a problem here. Might be an issue here. Oh, maybe I should take care of this now. I literally can't function anymore. Don't wait until you get to that point where you literally can't function before you do something about it. But that's how so many of us survive, right? That keeps you living in a storm. That doesn't get you to a point where you can learn what your system needs. And that's why I work on these things in the Female Hormone Solution Program. We do hormone testing to make sure we know what your body needs and make specific recommendations on exactly what your system needs to move to the next step. And we focus on what's actually going to help you with that next step. What are the first things you need to focus on? Do you need to focus more on stress reduction? Or do you have too much toxic overload for your system? I had this conversation today with somebody where we talked about, you know what? Your system has a hard time detoxing, and you really need to put a priority of getting rid of all the toxic stuff in your home. It makes that big of a difference. It makes that big of a difference. If you are using soap, cleaning products, shampoos, vacuuming, and using like that stuff that you put down when you vacuum, whatever it is, that products that you use every single day, and it's slowly poisoning you. I don't care how much you're eating, or how clean you're eating. You're also poisoning yourself every day, a little bit at a time. We need to change that. It's no good to detox all the time if all you're doing is surrounding yourself with all this toxic stuff. So switch over, get rid of all that toxic stuff and switch over, right? It's an investment, yes, but it's actually going to work then when you want to work on your health. Karen, oh my God, this is me today. I just stopped feeling guilty for going to turn my phone off, lock my bedroom door, and sleep. Yes! Yes, this is what I'm talking about. If you need to sleep, if you need a nap, if you are exhausted in the afternoon and you find yourself trying to push through, I got to make dinner, I got to do this for everybody else, and you end up snapping at everybody in your family because you're so exhausted, take a 20-minute power nap. Even if you don't actually sleep, just closing your eyes, getting your brain to reset can change everything. You deserve that 20 minutes. And even if you're not at a place where you're like, I don't know that I can do that. That like feels wrong. It feels wrong to sit down during the day. That feels lazy. Then know that you're going to be in a better mood for the other people in your life later because you were able to rest your brain. Yeah. Think of how many things you do in a day, how many things you take care of, how many people you talk to, how many people you take care of every minute out of every day. That is exhausting. Exhausting. And with the stress that we have already, right? You need to stop putting yourself last, because the more you do that, the more you continue living in the storm. And if you keep living in a storm, it is going to knock you around. It is going to knock you down. Yes. Can you do some of the talks about switching out the toxic stuff? Ooh, yes. You know what? I absolutely can. I don't know what companies or products are good, what is just hyped, or people are trying to sell me. Yes. This is a really good thing. And the important thing about this, I'm really glad you asked this question. I feel like I should do like a whole video series on it. I have an idea. In the master classes that I have, I'm going to talk about toxic products and things to look for that are good, not good, and some of my favorite products and brands that are absolutely trustworthy. So make sure you go on the link in the comments and get on the wait list so you can get notified for my masterclass, because it's a whole thing to dive into. But you're right, companies do get purchased. That's the thing. You have to be aware of what's going on when you're looking at toxic products. If a company gets bought out by a bigger company, they can change the formula and not notify anybody, and they can still use the same label and everything and make it look, they call it greenwashing, make it look like it's so healthy, when really it's cheap crap that is messing up your hormones. Yeah, there's a lot of companies that this has happened for recently. Yes. So one of the things that I do is that as much as possible, I will buy local or organic or small owned, business owned brands that I know are safe and trustworthy for products. Otherwise it is really reading labels. So I'll share some of that stuff with you in that masterclass. So make sure you go and get on that list in the comments, and we'll talk all about that stuff. A great suggestion. Yes. And that's, again, another great way to stop living in the storm. Clear all this stuff out, take care of you, and make sure that you are getting all the right things for you moving forward. Yes. All right. These are some great questions. Again, put more questions. I do check the comments after I go live. So if you are catching the replay, keep putting some questions in the comments there, and I will answer them as best as I can. Otherwise, I can't wait to see you guys on that masterclass, and have a great night, and I will see you later.